watching the Sports Apollo channel of LB. I'm his contributor. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Let's get down to business. So everyone that attended the annual Jim Clyburn Fish Fry, I hope you got something out of it. There's a video out right now that when Biden was asked about reparations, he's cursing them out. He's talking about he's doing all he can, talking about Sheila Jackson Lee, all that. So, and we're going to take a deeper dive into HR 40 because y'all learned that HR 40 ain't worth the paper it's written on. It's not. And there's some well-meaning, well-intentioned people who wants to see reparations passed for the Black community. But in pushing for that, we're pushing the wrong message while having the intentions and the desire to see the results for the Black community. And the problem with pushing the wrong message is these bootlicks, the shea butter crowd, these sellouts are going to hide behind the wrong message. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about the HR 40 bill. We're going to read the HR 40 bill, and you'll see why the HR 40 bill is not worth the paper it's written on. We're going to begin by talking about a racial justice coalition estimated that Biden ordered the study of reparations. Okay, this is a Washington Post piece that came out a couple of days ago, where a coalition of dozens of human rights organizations and racial justice advocates sent a letter to the White House Wednesday demanding that President Biden issue an executive order to create a commission to study reparation for slavery. The letter marks a change in strategy by advocates of reparations. We have long pushed for Congress to pass H.R. 40, a bill that will establish a commission to study reparations. In April 2021, the House Judiciary Committee voted to advance H.R. 40 for the first time since it was introduced in 1989. Last June, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki and Biden supported a number of components of the bill. He, of course, supports a study of reparations and feels that that would be the best next step. But the push for Reparation Commission has faced a staunch opposition in 2019. Then Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told reporters he does not support reparations. Of course, he don't support it. That ventriloquist dummy with the burnt-up jack-off hand. Of course, he does a study. He doesn't support it. Why will he support it? I don't think reparations for something that happened 150 years ago, for whom none of us currently living are responsible, is a good idea. Considering that, one, the action still continued through your legislature. For two, what has really changed? You guys still have generational wealth off the backs of blacks. What's up, Ted Cox? So I don't understand what that snap turtle ventriloquist dummy is talking about. We tried to deal with the original sin of slavery by fighting a civil war and passing landmark civil rights legislation. And the actions still continue, ventriloquist dummy. Mitch McConnell, a white supremacist. I mean, that's not enough reason for him to not support reparations. He's a white supremacist. Of course, he's not going to support it. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer challenged McConnell's comments. What McConnell said was just preposterous. After the bill was introduced by Cory Booker and Sheila Jackson Lee in 2019. The legacy of slavery and Jim Crow are still with us. Yeah, because you guys are the ones that perpetuated. You guys are the ones that held it up. You guys are the ones that defended it. Now, the groups that signed the letter of National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America, the National Action Network led by the Reverend Al Sharpton, the Racial Justice Coalition that changed in the International Advocacy Group of Human Rights Watch. The letter represents a recognition that a unilateral executive action might be the only realistic path for reparations amid stalled progress in Congress. Okay, so let's talk about this paragraph right here. And this paragraph is coming from the Washington Post. Excuse me. One second. I feel like buffering. Now, we're going to continue on. Now, these groups, the National Coalition for Blacks for Reparations and the National Action Network, these groups are nothing but Democratic shill organizations. NCOBRA and National Inaction Network are Democratic shill organizations. Okay? These individuals get in the way of reparations. A year after the Judiciary Committee vote, these activists said there is a growing urgency to establish a commission. But this is the problem with that. The problem with that is no other ethnic group that got reparations needed a commission. No other ethnic group needed a study of reparations. But for us, we need to have a study. My question is, what the hell are we studying? Have we not seen what's going on? Have they not seen what's going on? They're nothing more than a crash test dummy front group. They'll be the same ones at those reparations hearings with Coleman Hughes and Herschel Walker and Jonathan Capehart and Danny Glover telling you that we don't need reparations. All we need is an apology. Now more than ever, we know that many of the racial disparities that weigh this country down and divide people in the United States from each other are necessary and can be eradicated if we address the ongoing legacy of enslavement, says the letter sent to the White House by email and by postal service. By righting our wrongs, we can make sure that all families in the United States get a fair chance to acquire land. See, all families. See, that's the wrong message. It should not be all families. It should be black families. Black. Specifically for black people. This is part of the reason why you cannot have everybody sending the message. This is the problem when you send the wrong message. All families in the U.S. get a fair chance to acquire land, to buy a home, to enjoy good health, and to live without fear about tomorrow. That is why we request that you create by Juneteenth an expert commission like that is wished to be established by a bill in Congress, the H.R. 40 bill. Advocates for a commission say that slavery drove the economy of the country while the enslaved black people were paid nothing for the forced labor. A commission that will examine reparations not just for slavery, but for the racial oppression that followed, including Jim Crow, the black codes that deny black Americans opportunities for education, housing, and jobs. The lack of moral and political will begin the process of reparations continues to be a bloody stain on our collective identity and consciousness, said Dresden Heath, a racial justice researcher at the Human Rights Watch who testified about reparations before Congress last year. President Biden supports the study of reparations, which can steer the country in a healthier, less destructive course,
by using his executive power to establish a federal reparations commission now. Once again, they're sending the wrong message. You don't need no reparations commission. You don't need no bill studying reparations. What's up, Black Manta 777? In 1989, Representative John Conyers Jr. introduced legislation to create a commission to develop proposals for reparation, which he introduced each new Congress. After Conyers retired in 2017, Sheila Jackson Lee took over the responsibility of sponsorship for the bill in Congress. Now, Sheila Jackson Lee is an immigrant. She don't qualify for reparations. So why is she pushing the bill? And then, if you go back in 1989, John Conyers, that was a white dude that first introduced the bill for reparations. So why do we need a study? We don't need no study. The grassroots see what is going on. We've seen Asians get tangibles. They got a crime bill and they got reparations. We've seen Afghans who were taken over by the Taliban, fled their country to come here, and they got tangibles. They got money, they got passports, driver's licenses, anything that could help them establish a living here in the United States, they got it. Case in point, I drive Lyft every once in a while, right? So on this particular day, when I was driving Lyft, what's up, Ted Smoot, Black Manta 777, salute to y'all. I drove Lyft one day. I think it was about like a Wednesday afternoon. I drove Lyft, right? So I go pick up this dude, and this dude was an Afghan, right? I picked him up out here in Fredericksburg, and I drove him all the way up to Manassas, to an area to where he can get all his stuff done so he can get his citizenship. Like, he got provided the papers and all that. He had to fill out the application. I drove him up to Manassas and dropped him off at a spot where he can go get his citizenship and all that taken care of. An Afghan. He told me that he was one of those people that was on that plane and how the Taliban took over Afghanistan, all that stuff. They can get tangibles, right? Asians can get tangibles, right? Japanese people get tangibles. Mexicans they were talking about giving Mexicans $450,000 in reparation for what happened at the border when Trump is separating people from their families and all that. Meanwhile, through the crime bill and other provisions, Black people are getting separated from their families, right? Prosecutorial misconduct and judicial bias and jury bias and misconduct on the bench with the judge. Police misconduct separate Black families from their homes, and yet Black people do decades in prison over crime they don't commit. In some cases, in the case of Troy, what's the guy's name? I think it's Troy Davis. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's Troy Davis. Troy Davis was a citizen out in Georgia, right? Let me give y'all the story of Troy Davis real quick, just to show y'all and give y'all a glimpse of what the deal was. Troy Anthony Davis was a man that was convicted and executed for the August 19th, 1989 murder of police officer Mark McPhail in Savannah, Georgia. McPhail was working as a security guard at a Burger King and was intervening to defend the man being assaulted by Davis in a nearby parking lot where he was murdered. So that's the story about that. Okay, that was a story about Troy Davis, right? Now there was racial bias that played a role in the use of the death penalty, which is disproportionately given to black men. He died on September 21st, 2011. Now, he did not commit that murder. In the months before his execution, people around the country urged Georgia to reconsider in the light of serious doubts about his guilt, including the fact that 7 out of 9 witnesses recanted their testimony against him, despite calls to stay his execution from politicians on both sides of the aisle. The NAACP, the Innocence Project, the Amnesty International. The state moved ahead with his execution. On the morning of his scheduled execution, Davis asked Winslow Gordon Brown of Amnesty International to share a message with David. Okay, so what they don't tell you in this piece by the Innocent Project, there was new evidence that came out that supported the exoneration of Troy Davis. It needed a unanimous Supreme Court signature to exonerate Troy Davis, and that was to keep him from getting executed. 2 people did not sign the letter which would have freed Troy Davis out of prison. The first person that didn't sign that paper was Anthony Scalia. May he rest in peace. Anthony Scalia died in 2016. The other person that didn't sign that paper was Clarence Thomas. That coon-ass, buck-dancing-ass, go sell out the mountain, extra juicy Sambo. Yes, Clarence Thomas is a fucking coon. He's sitting up here kissing it up with Ursula off the Little Mermaid, his ugly ass wife. So we got all this stuff going on here in the country when it comes to racial injustice and all that, and yet our answer for that is a study of reparations. A study. See, this is the type of shit the Democrats do, right? They'll tell you about all these other people being separated from their families and all that. They'll show all those images all day. Meanwhile, we got instances here where prosecutorial misconduct, judicial misconduct, jury bias, police creating false statements and all that, and that doesn't separate families from their homes, especially in the black community. Are you kidding me? But when you ask about reparations, you got this old dusty bastard right here telling you that, oh, well, we're working on it. And he's cursing his people out. He's cursing out these same people that's voting him in the office, man. He's cursing out the same people that's voted his trifling ass in the office. That bastard took office in 1993 in the 6th Congressional District of South Carolina. I grew up there. I grew up in this bastard's district, and he has done nothing, right? Yeah, a few jobs came down there, but once you got out of the city of Charleston, North Charleston, Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, James Island, once you got out all that, there's nothing there. There's nothing in Orangeburg outside of South Carolina State University. And even then, I have no good faith that old bastard really hasn't put anything towards South Carolina State. You go to Colony County, right? Somerville's starting to blow up. Now, they got some things down there in Somerville. But once you go outside of that, right? You go to Sumter, there's nothing there. There's nothing out there. Why do you think he held that fish fry in North Charleston and not in King Street. There's nothing in King Street. But let's continue on with the reparations thing. Let's continue on with this reparations thing. Because see, they'll talk about all this other stuff, right? But we had Black Wall Street, we had Juneteenth, we have all this other stuff that when I went through school, I did not learn anything about Black Wall Street, Juneteenth. I ain't learned but none of that. You know why? Because they didn't teach none of that. They didn't teach none of that when I went through school. And that's by design. Okay? They sitting up here trying to erase history and tell you that, oh, that was a long time ago. So which one is it? You can't say that happened a long time ago. And I didn't live during that time, so I feel that you shouldn't deserve reparations. In the meanwhile, you're trying to erase the history that happened. See, white supremacy always want to twist themselves in the pretzels to get their end result. They're telling you, oh man, that happened a long time ago. You shouldn't get no reparations for something that happened a long time ago. But yet you guys always trying to rewrite history and make it seem like it wasn't as bad as it was, as people made it out to be. And you guys, always out here trying to twist the knife and all that. You guys just don't know what y'all talking about when it comes to, the things that happened back in the day. You got the white supremacists trying to rewrite history while acknowledging the fact that the history happened, but at the same time, they don't want to cut the check. Even though they've amassed generational wealth, companies, colleges, corporations, and people alike, white supremacists alike, have all accrued generational wealth through the backs of blacks. And yet, once you ask them about reparations, all of a sudden, they're absent-minded. They don't know. Now, recently, a story came out by in the media where Harvard is going to donate or spend $100 million to study their role in the whole slavery concept. Right? Now, Professor Black Truth did a video about this months before this thing happened. In his Daily Moment of Truth series, he talked about that very same thing. So, this part of the video, we're going to talk about the actual HR 40 bill because I feel it's important that you have an idea and an understanding what's in the bill. Okay? Because if you understand what's in the bill, then you can act accordingly as to asking the right questions. And I do believe to get the right result, you have to ask the right questions. And don't allow these individuals to slither and slide away unscathed. Okay. Now, I'm going to read this bill out to everybody. Matter of fact, I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Because we're going to read out this bill together. So that way you have an idea what the bill looks like. It's important that the right people ask the right questions and not these crash test dummies out here. Because all skin folks ain't kin folks, and not everybody wants to see us succeed. Not everyone wants to see us get our desired result.
All right. Now, what's up, Eric Johnson? Salute to you, bro. We go ahead and share my screen real quick, and then we're gonna really get down to business. That way, you see the HR 40 bill for yourself. Okay, everybody. This is the HR 40 bill right there in your face. We're gonna read this bill out together. 117th Congress. Purpose is to address the fundamental injustice, cruelty, brutality, and inhumanity of slavery in the United States and 13 American colonies between 1619 and 1865, and establish a commission to study and consider a national apology and proposal for reparation and the institution of slavery. Now, just reading that sentence right there alone, did you see anything there about them cutting a check? Took the words right out of my mouth, Eric Johnson's word salad. Do you see anything just off that initial sentence I just read? The initial paragraph I just saw right there, did that say anything about cutting the check? See, my fellow black brothers and sisters out there that's pushed for reparations, all right? You got to be careful what you're saying. You got to be careful about what you're pushing. This bill, just off the initial sentence I just read, does not say anything about cutting a check. This bill is all about studying the reparation. Now, if you understand what's going on here in the country, we've seen other ethnic groups get tangibles, and guess what they didn't have? They didn't have no bill. They didn't have no study. I mean, let's be honest. What the hell are we studying? Look, if I'm going up for an exam to be a Microsoft Artificial Intelligence Fundamental Specialist, then I would study that. If I'm going up for Security Plus for CompTIA, I would study that. But when it comes to reparations, though, we don't need to study that. They need to cut that goddamn check. Pardon my language. For those of you that don't like all the cursing and all that, I apologize up front. But I'm very passionate about what I'm saying. You don't need no study. All they need to do is cut the check. So if you're going to push anything, push that executive order to cut the check. Now, for those of you that was at that Jim Clapper and Fish Fry, I appreciate y'all for asking about reparations and all that. But you got to be careful what you're asking. You got to be careful about pushing bills like HR 40, bills that are not worth the paper it's written on. Because to study and consider a national apology, what is this national apology about? I don't need, look, these jackasses can show their apology by cutting that check. They can show their apology by cutting that $20 trillion check. Okay? That's how they can show their apology. And a proposal for reparation for the institution of slavery and the subsequent de jure and de facto racial and economic discrimination against African Americans and the impact of these forces on living African Americans, to make recommendations to the Congress to appropriate remedies and other purposes. See, that's another whole bunch of word salad. Another piece of BS word salad. Look, if I ran out of toilet paper and I needed to wipe my ass with something, it would be this bill right here. Because it's definitely not worth the paper it's written on. Now look at all these people here. All these representatives thinking they're doing something by attaching their name to a bullshit ass bill. And they repeated the same thing here on the next paragraph. After you get, so you got the initial purpose here for the HR 40 bill. Then you got all these people in the House of Representatives that attached their name to this bill. And then they repeated the same thing on the bottom. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives and the United States of America Congress assembled. Short title, Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposal for the African Americans Act. That is the, once again, more word salad. The findings and purpose. Approximately 4 million Africans and their descendants were enslaved in the United States and colonies that became the United States from 1619 to 1865. The problem is the actions still continue after 1865. The actions still continue to this very day. So you think between 1865 and now that there was no racism going on, there was no Jim Crow, there was nothing, right? Everybody was living in harmony. Black people that was fighting alongside white people in World War II, they come home, they get nothing. Meanwhile, white people get tangibles, they get housing, they get everything they needed and wanted. And the black people who fought alongside them got nothing. Look at this shit. The slavery that flourished in the United States through an immoral, inhumane deprivation of Africans' life, liberty, and African citizenship rights, cultural heritage, and denied them the fruits of their own labor. A preponderance of scholarly, legal, community, evidentiary documentation, public culture markers constitute the basis for inquiry into the ongoing effects of institutional slavery and its legacy of persistent systemic structures of discrimination on living African American society in the United States. Following the abolition of the slavery of the United States government, the federal, state, local level continue to perpetuate, condone, and often profit from practices that continue to brutalize and disadvantage African Americans, including sharecropping, convict leasing, Jim Crow, redlining, blockbusting. I just added that word in there. Unequal education, disproportionate treatment at the hands of the criminal justice system, and as a result of the historic and continued discrimination, African Americans continue to suffer debilitating economic, educational, and health hardships, including but not limited to having nearly 1 million black people incarcerated. I talked about that before I even pulled this bill up. An unemployment rate that's twice the current white unemployment rate, and an average of less than 1/16 of the wealth of white families, a disparity that has worsened, not improved over time. And yet, y'all talk about slavery that happened between 1619 and 1865, but yet y'all still, and then so you talk about all the stuff that's going on to this very moment, but yet you talk about slavery that's going on between 1619 and 1865. But it says absolutely nothing about cutting a check. Now, everything I read up to this point, have you seen anything about cutting a check? You see any tangibles here? So I'm not going to bore you to death with all this other word salad. We're going to get right down to the nitty gritty, right? We're going to talk about the membership. It says what form of compensation should be awarded. Doesn't say how much it should be awarded. It just says what, but it doesn't say how much. So someone can just think up a number. No, they ain't thought up a number when it, look, Asians, Afghans, Mexicans, Jewish people, Japanese people, all these people got tangibles. And guess what they didn't need? A study. They didn't need no HR bill saying we need to study a reparation for Japanese people, or we need to study a reparation for Mexican people. They didn't need none of that. They just cut the check. You can sit up here and let crash test dummies like Roland Martin and Ann Cobra and National Action Network, all these jackasses who does not benefit the black community. If anything, they leverage the black community for their own benefit. This is why you got to be careful of how you asking these politicians about certain bills. This HR 40 bill is not worth the paper it's written on. It's not. What's up, Kasim Baker? Salute. Now, the membership. The commission shall be composed of 13 members who shall be appointed within 90 days after the date of the enactment. Guess what didn't get enacted yet? Because this bill was sitting on the tables collecting dust. Members shall be appointed by the president. Guess who's the president right now? Joe Biden, a guy who's been a staunch opponent of reparations, a guy who wrote the 94 crime bill, right, calling it Biden's law, right? The prison industrial complex with, $13 billion was baked into that bill for states to build more jails. Then you have the 86 Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which is the 100-to-1 disparity between crack cocaine and powder cocaine. And guess who was supporter of that? That's right, Joe Biden. Because see, when we ask for reparations, he'll try to make some landmark of, oh, this is the first Supreme Court justice in Ketanji Brown Jackson, considering she don't know what a woman is defined as. Or we got Karine Jean-Pierre, the first black White House press secretary, considering that she don't consider herself as black, she considers herself as LGBT, and she's out here chasing white pussy. That's right. Her BFF, her significant other, is a white woman. She don't consider herself as black. See, this first black woman type shit has ran its course. This being black with convenient also ran its course too. Because if you notice, between Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kamala Harris, Karine Jean-Pierre, all of them have chased and acquired interracial sexual access while giving the middle finger to black people. Ketanji Brown Jackson, the crash test dummy, the willing and able crash test dummy, blocked a class action lawsuit from Lockheed Martin to the tune of $22 million when black folks was alleging that the company was creating a hostile working environment through its racism. And Ketanji Brown Jackson stopped that check from being cut to those deserving black folks out there at Lockheed Martin. Right? So that's the trick bag that these politics and these white supremacists get around, cut the check for black folks. You got willing and able coons that are willing to do the work of these white supremacists, and then these white supremacists will point to these black folks right here, quote unquote, as see, there's no racism in the country. Look, you got a Supreme Court justice that's black. Matter of fact, you got 2 Supreme Court justices that's black. Ain't that good enough for you? You had Barack Obama as your president. Ain't that good enough for you? You had Kamala Harris as your vice president. First black woman vice president. Ain't that good enough for you? See, that's what these white supremacists will say. Mind you, these ain't black people. These ain't foundational black Americans. They're immigrants. Yeah, willing and able immigrants that will get down on their knees and do whatever they can to get that acceptance, and then they'll be the same people that call themselves wagging their finger at foundational black Americans, talking about, oh, you're lazy, you don't want to do anything, all you want to do is sit up here and complain all day. See, I got on my knees and I sucked the dick and I got my tangibles. Guess what? Not everybody's willing to get on their knees and submit themselves to white supremacy. Because see, we are actually out here willing to do the work. Ain't no migrant out here willing to do the work. They willing out here to be a willing and able crash test dummy. Let's continue on with this thing. The more I talk about it, the more irritated I'm getting right now. These members should be appointed by the Speaker of the House. Currently, it's Nancy Pelosi, and if the Republicans get their way, it's going to be Kevin McCarthy. Guess what both of them have in common? Neither one of them support reparations. You think Kevin McCarthy give a fuck about black people? No. You think that white California raisin Nancy Pelosi care about black people? No, she don't. One member should be appointed by the president pro tempore of the Senate. 6 members should be selected from major civil society and reparations organizations that have historically championed the cause of reparatory justice. This is where NCOBRA and the National Action Network and all these other jackass organizations comes in at. Because see, they won't get a guy like me on this panel. No, they won't. They won't get someone like a Professor Black Truth or the Black Authority, Jason Black. They won't get guys like Eric Johnson, LVZ. They won't get those guys. No. Guys that really push for this reparation shit, no. They're not going to ask for us. No. It's going to be the National Action Network and NCOBRA and all these other front groups. The Roland Martins of the world. The Shea Butter contingent. The Cheesy Croissant circuit. All them clowns. That's what could be part of this study. All members of the commission be persons who especially qualified to serve on the commission by virtue of their education, training, activism, or experience, particularly in the field of African American studies and reparatory justice. So I can see a scenario where an individual like Tamika Mallory, right, who leverages the black community for her own benefit, right? She was sitting up here telling you that sexism is worse than racism when we was banging on Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris was unqualified to be a president. And when Joe Biden picked her to be his running mate and people was up in arms over that because of her ineptitude, she's sitting up there telling you that sexism is worse than racism, that she can make a compelling argument about that. That's what she told people on a TMZ interview. Hit the like button too. The like button's free 99. I'm pouring out my heart and soul on this thing. The least you can do is hit the like button. I'm trying to tell you the truth here. I don't have no reason to lead you astray, to lie, and to leverage you. I have no reason, I have no benefit to do that. The least you can do is hit the like button. Let's get them likes up, please. I appreciate it. The term of office for members should be for the life of the commission. And who knows when the life of that commission is? A vacancy in the commission shall not affect the powers of the commission and shall be fulfilled in the same manner in which the original appointment was made. Okay, whatever. First meeting, the president should call the first meeting of the commission within 120 days of the date of the enactment of this act, or within 30 days of which the legislation and enacted make appropriations to carry out the act, whichever date is later, not earlier, later. So this bill could be kicked down the road for years on end before we even have this thing enacted, provided it even gets enacted, provided it even gets passed in the Senate. As far as I'm concerned, this bill, all they're going to do is kick this can down the road, and this bill's going to go in the trash. Someone's going to pick up this can and throw it in the trash. And this is why we don't need no goddamn study. We need to put pressure on these fools to cut the check. Cut the check. I'm not going to bore you with any more of this stuff. This bill, as you can see, is not worth the paper it's written on. It don't say anything about cutting the check. It don't say when they're going to cut the check, how they're going to cut the check. There's a whole bunch of nonsensical word salad and a whole bunch of gibberish. So I'm not going to waste your time with that bullshit ass bill anymore. We don't need no study. Let me tell y'all something. We don't need no damn study concerning what's going on here in the country right now. We don't. Cut that goddamn check. just to give you an idea, but what Jim Clyburn did, right? Just to give you an idea of Jim Clyburn and what he did and all that, right? This video is courtesy of the Black Channel. All rights and all no credit go to the Black Authority. What's up, J Dog? Cam Dudley 420. Salute to y'all, man. Now, Jim Clyburn had a meltdown last night. Now, in case you didn't see that, just in case you didn't see that meltdown last night during his annual fish fry, right? And I wish I was down there. Oh my God, I wish I was down there, man. Because, man, I would have brought hell with me yesterday if I was down there. Now, this was Jim Clyburn yesterday at his annual fish fry, right? Because that's how much he think of his constituents. 2 pieces of whiting with coleslaw, French fries, and a Diet Coke.
I'm doing well. Listen, I gotta go, but I appreciate the fish fry and everything. I did want to ask though. Reparations is a big thing.
Reparations is big with me. I'm not the one doing the deal. Why y'all keep fucking with me on that? I'm not the one doing the deal.
That's my deal. What would you do?
The reparations bill. HR40. Okay. I've been doing it for 20 years, 30 years. And it's been around for 38. Because all y'all keep telling me about a bill that's been there for 38 years.
Well,
older than my grandson. He's a 27. I've been up there for 38 years. And y'all telling me that I'm supposed to pass.
we just want you to push.
I have been.
Well,
Ask me if that's illegal.
tell her to push it too.
Well, she's the one that offered it. She wrote it. No, let me land that plane. Stop as soon as you get there.
Respectfully. Just send that out. You know, we want to see that. We actually want to see that go.
Well, everybody wants to see that go.
Which grants no fiscal resources, support for federalism, and the idea that our elected officials have a moral imperative together.
The question I got is, why is that white dude calling himself trying to come in front of Jim Clyburn, trying to tell that man what to say and how to say it and all that? Man, if that motherfucker don't get the hell up out of here, oh man, the more, this thing got my blood boiling right now. Why is that white dude calling himself approaching that black man when he's asking Jim Clyburn about reparations and all that? Oh, could you be a little bit more respectful? No, I'm not talking to you. You can step your ass to the side.
I want to see voting go too. And they haven't passed. Well, is that my problem too?
I want to cast a vote.
Is that my problem?
It'd be a crime if you don't. So I want to vote.
No,
I want to see some
I'm saying
candidates.
the Voting Rights Act that destroyed.
And see, there we go again. That's another scenario what these black folks do. Look at his hand. I'm like, why is his finger up like that? Why he wag his finger like that? Who gives him the authority to call himself raising his hand up like that? No, motherfucker, you can put your hand down. All these guys want to call themselves wagging their finger at black folks. When they sit up here and want to berate and demean and diminish black folks, all that, that's the first thing they do. They be raising their finger. That index finger goes up like an antenna on an old 1989 television. Jim Clyburn does it. Roland Martin does it. Kamala Harris does it. And don't start talking like a Republican. No, man, you can put your hand down because you forget you are a representative. That means you can be replaced. You think just because you got in positions of power and all that, you think you could just talk to black people any kind of way? You think you just go just finagle your way out of this conversation? No, you're not going to finagle your way out of a conversation because remember, you told us to stop sloganeering. Because sloganeering kills elections, right? Ain't that what you said, old Jim Clyburn? And yet you running your mouth, wagging your finger at that man when he asked you about reparations. Now I wish that brother would not ask him about HR 40, because that HR 40 book ain't worth the paper it's written on. You better be glad I wasn't there last night, Jim Clyburn, because I'm coming for your ass, boy. I'm trying to tell you. You better be glad I wasn't there last night. You better be glad I wasn't there last night. This thing would have gone mega viral if I was there last night. You better be glad I was not home last night. Mommy, I'm sorry, Mommy. If you watch this video, I'm sorry. All right? I got to get at this Bama Jim Clyburn, Mommy. I know you and I are probably going to get into it about this dude, but Mom, I don't care about that. I'm sorry, Mommy. I got to get at him. I got to go get him. And you ain't going to be able to stop me. I'm trying to tell you, Mommy, I'm not, look, I feel strongly about this thing because I've seen what's going on. You ain't going to be able to stop me. So don't try and stop me. Now, I apologize. I love you, Mom, but I got to get at this dude, man. I got to get at this dude.
Because fool around here, people don't vote. If you got Trump.
Why people don't? Okay, and I would have asked him why people don't vote Jim Clyburn. Why people don't vote Jimmy Crack Corn Clyburn? Huh? You know why people don't vote? Because people like you aren't delivering on tangibles. That's why. So you can put your hand down. People don't vote. Why is that? If you give people something to vote for, they'll come out. No matter what the hell the Republicans doing. Whether it be with all this gerrymandering and redistricting and voter suppression. People don't vote. Why people don't vote? You're not giving nothing to vote for. And that's your fault. You got a bill that's sitting up there 38 years and you parading this thing around like you're doing all this work 38 years. Where's the result? Hit that like button and share these videos. Are y'all sharing this video? Are y'all sharing this video? Y'all need to share these videos on your social media platform now. Help your boy out now. We're trying to get this message out. You can do that by at least sharing the video. You better be glad I wasn't home last night. If I was home this weekend, Jim Clyburn, I'm telling you, you better thank the Lord that you serve that I was not home this weekend. Because if I was home this weekend, oh man, oh man. Let's keep on going. This video ain't that much longer.
And now you've lost the voting rights act. Now women are about to lose.
Voting Rights Act, you don't need voting rights. You know why? Because we already have the right to vote. As long as we're not convicted of a felony, we have voting rights access. So why y'all pushing redundant stuff? We already have voting rights there, Jimmy Crack Corn Clyburn. What are you talking about?
Right. Of course. Simply because y'all don't get real.
No. Me, y'all don't get real. See, that's that BS right there, man. Talk about we don't get real. No, you're not getting real. You're not getting real. You're not getting serious with your voters. You pushing that Voting Rights Act for immigrants that's going to drown out the black vote. We're not stupid. And I wish this old senile bastard would stop talking to us like we're stupid. Talk about we're not getting real. Getting real over what? You need to get real. You serious right now? Shout out to Eric Johnson to Cash App with his donation. He says so Salute, homie. Stay up, G. I appreciate you, my brother Eric Johnson. If you want to donate, there's the Cash App and PayPal. We gonna cook. We gonna cook. We gonna cook.
Y'all gonna get real. You want to make a headline? Let's make headway. Let's get some reparations.
We want to make headline. We make headway. No, you guys are supposed to be the representative for us. How about you make some headway? Ain't you the number 3 Democrat in all of Congress? Ain't you the majority whip? Right? Crack that whip out and make some shit happen there. If you the so-called majority whip, crack out that whip and let's make some people move. Crack that whip out there, Jimmy Crack Corn Clyburn. Where is it? Shout out to my brother J-Dog in the super chat with his donation. I appreciate you, man. You ain't leave no message, but I salute my brother J-Dog. Like I said, if you want to donate, hit me on the Cash App if you want to donate. But I appreciate it either way. If you want to donate through PayPal and whatever, that's fine with me too. I appreciate you. Salute to you, my general salute to my brother J-Dog. Go subscribe to his channel, J-Dog FBA. He and I had a good conversation last night on his channel. So go subscribe to him. Go subscribe to Eric Johnson 1994. He and I be having good discussion on his platform as well, right? Other channels you want to subscribe to: LVZ NBA Talk, Too Raw for TV, Quest X, Torian Rain Reloaded. If you're not subscribed to those channels, man, I don't know what the hell y'all doing. And obviously, subscribe to the Black Authority, Professor Black Truth, Lisa Cabrera, the Bottom Line, Santee Walden. I mean, those are the channels you want to be subscribed to, because we the ones that's going to give you the insight of what these white supremacists is doing. That dude really got some nerve talk about voting rights and that black people are getting real. Did he not remember that when black people got real, the Democrats had control of the House, they had control of the Senate, and they got Joe Biden in office? So what the hell did he mean that black people not getting real when the black people are the very same reason the Democrats have control of everything? But black people not getting real? No, he's being unrealistic. He better be glad I wasn't there last night. Man, that thing would have gone mega viral. Talk about black people not getting real. What do you mean black people not getting real? Black people not voting. Ain't that's why y'all got control of all that stuff y'all got right now, and y'all doing absolutely nothing with it? And that butterball basting bastard Roland Martin got nerve to block me on Twitter when I go out here and confront him about the sins he commit. Because he a willing and able crash test dummy his own right. All you shea butter bootlicks, you guys make me sick. Whether you're on the Democratic side of bootlicking or on the Republican side of bootlicking, you both make me sick. You both don't do anything for the black contingent. You got Herschel Walker. This dude can't put 3 coherent sentences together, and he's sitting up there telling you that you don't deserve reparation because how can his heavenly father forgive him if he can't forgive his brother? Meanwhile, he's putting his gun to the head of his ex-wife, but he holds himself accountable, right? You don't get the fuck out of here. You got Candace Owens, that mangy hyena who suffers from malnutrition. She's up here spewing out her disinformation, being a willing and able crash test dummy and a ghetto gagger for all these white folks out here. She'll sit up there and tell you that black people don't deserve reparations. You got Larry Elder, another individual, who will tell you that black people don't deserve reparations. Oh yeah, J-Dog, I wasn't even going to mention his flaming hot Cheeto son of Christian Walker, who in his alternative life would be labeled as Christina. Because see, Christina Walker, that flaming hot Cheeto, that she don't consider himself as black, and he don't consider himself as a man. He like taking dick. Pardon my French. Oh yeah, by the way, this channel is not for the weak in mind and weak at heart. So if you are a individual that don't like explicit content, then this channel is not for you. Because while I am attempting to clean up the content, if I get fired up about something, I can't promise, I cannot promise you that I will have clean content come out my mouth in real time. I'm just saying. I'm trying to clean up the content. But I cannot promise you what comes out my mouth is going to be clean if I get fired up about something. But anyway, Larry Elder sitting up there telling you that you don't deserve reparations. And Coleman Hughes, who likes sliding down subway poles in New York with brown dookie stains in his drawers, he's telling you that you don't deserve reparations. You got Jonathan, I'm putting on my Cape Heart. That gaping asshole would tell you that black people don't deserve reparations. All they need is an apology. Meanwhile, he's out there tongue kissing, dick licking his white zaddy on a random ass Saturday night. Then on Sunday morning, he'll have his own talk show on BSNBC. But he's supposed to be the individuals that's speaking for black people. Man, if you don't get up out of here, none of you clowns speak for us. You guys are not representatives of the foundational black Americans. You're not. You guys are LGBT. Jonathan Capehart and Coleman Hughes. You guys like Bussy. So push that agenda. You guys like Bucci. You guys like reenacting Brokeback Mountain. You don't represent foundational black Americans. You don't. So stop speaking like you do about foundational black Americans, because you don't. Why are you over there speaking on a community you don't even claim nor represent? You got people out here who's willingly denying you who's willingly and able to deny you reparations. You got front groups like NCOBRA and National Inaction Network that's sitting up there pretending like they're doing the work. And then you got this politrick, this old, greased up, gray hair, 5-button, dusty suit bastard that's going to sit there and tell you, oh man, this bill was up 38 years. 38 years. Jim Clyburn been in that goddamn office since 1993. So from the time he got there in 1993, when I lived down there, when I was in his district, because he represents the 6th Congressional District of South Carolina. So you mean to tell me from 1993 all the way up until 2022, you've been there almost 30 fucking years, and we could not get that goddamn bill passed? So what value does Jim Clyburn has if he's been up there damn near 30 years and we cannot get an HR 40 bill passed? Now that bill ain't worth the paper it's written on. But the fact that you can set up here parade around a bill for damn near that's been out for 38 years, you've been in Congress for almost 30 years and you couldn't get that bill passed, you couldn't use your power and influence to get that bill passed, man, you are worthless. So why is people continuing to vote for this Bama is beyond me. Jim Clyburn is worthless. He is. What do you even have in the Congressional Black Caucus? That caucus is full of immigrants anyway. Yeah, it's deeper than rap on this channel. It's deeper than rap. I'm not going to vote for a guy that's been in Congress down there 30 years and can't get no goddamn bill passed. See, Jim Clyburn the only time Jim Clyburn come to his district is when he giving out fish fries. Where's Jim Clyburn any other time? Do you see Jim Clyburn any other time? Outside that one time when he actually went down there and he was holding that microphone like how a rookie prostitute was holding a dildo or a real dick. He's sitting up there talking about he doing all his work. But where's the results? There's no results. Where the fuck is the results? So you mean to tell me you really show up in your own district, right? You barely have time to show up in your own district. You there is a blink and you miss a type moment. Meanwhile, you got time to be up in Ohio. Now, I ain't no fan of Nina Turner because Nina Turner is running around behind Bernie Sanders for crying out loud. But you had time to be in Ohio to stop Nina Turner from winning her election. You had time to be in other states preventing progressives and all that, or regressives, I like to call them. You had time to be in these other states to prevent up-and-coming politicians, up-and-coming Democrats who claim to be progressives from winning their districts and all that. You had time to be all these other places, but you don't got no time to be in your hometown, in your own district, a district that's one of the 10 worst districts here in America. So if you live in South Carolina, and if you're a subscriber in South Carolina, like my brother Courtney Washington, he's not in the building, but I want to shout out that brother, right? If you're going to vote for anybody, vote for Marcel Dixon. Marcel Dixon for Congress. It's time that the brother Marcel Dixon put Jim Clyburn on a retirement plan, a permanent one at that. You're going to vote for anybody, vote for Marcel Dixon. It's time we change the rules in the game that's being played right now. Now, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. All right, I'm going to put a link in the chat. You guys can come on in and give me your thoughts about what we talked about today. So, because I want to hear from you. I like talking to the people. I like hearing what the people got to say. So there's the link. You want to come in and you want to chop it up with your boy, let's do it. Give me your thoughts of this HR 40 bill that's being paraded around. Will there be one? Will there be one? The doors of the church are wide open. We got a fellow brother coming in here. We have
You can tag me in, man.
That's right. We have a church today on the Sports Political Channel LB when we're talking about this HR 40 bill. Testify.
Man, that fuck ass HR 40 bill wouldn't even have the privilege to be toilet tissue for my butt after I take a shit. That just goes to show you that Jim Clyburn is an old dusty neck, melted toothpaste face ass Negro. 29 years of cooning and buffooning, and you can't get not one bill passed for black people in the state of South Carolina, let alone even have a voice to speak for the people in my homie LB's hometown. And I wish he was there, man, because that video would have went viral, man. That shit would have been legendary. 'Cause when you step up to clowns like this and you put them in their place, when you flame these bastards, they want to call the boys on you. Because in one video, I think it, sorry about that, it was in the same video that we had some brothers and sisters out there, not showing their support for this dustball ass Negro, and he gonna call the boys on them because he couldn't handle that pressure.
Right. He better be glad I wasn't there last night. Oh my God, man! If I was there last night, oh my God, man!
Hey,
Oh
man,
man,
I'm like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. I wish I could have used instant transmission to be at that location, man. I would have, man, boy.
I look because initially I thought that Fish Fry would have gone down next month. I didn't realize it was gonna be this weekend. Otherwise, I would have made it a point to go down there. I was like, look,
man, I would have pulled up like Birdman at the Breakfast Club. Like, stop playing with my name now. You know what you're doing. Stop playing these fucking games. Fuck the HR 40 bill. Nothing in that bill says how much money is black people getting. It don't say nothing. How you gonna spend money on a study or something when you giving out billions and billions of dollars to other foreign countries? It don't make no sense. There's always something when it comes to black people. When you got dustball senile ass Negroes like this, the person in this picture, you see all these dust balls on top of his head. It's years of dandruff on top of his head, man. He's been through so much pain of cooning. He got a couple of cotton swabs on the back of his head. You got a couple of, old dusty pillows that's on top of his head. That's why he sleeps. He's been sleeping at the wheel for 29 plus years, man. You can't have old motherfuckers like this representing, our communities, man. That's why you need to get rid of these dudes, man. They stuck in their times. They stuck in their ways. They like serving under the white man. I'm not surprised that, the whip you was talking about earlier. I think him and Joe Biden be doing cosplays with that whip. So I'm gonna just leave it at that, to each his own,
right. Now that man approached Jim Clyburn with all the respect, and Jim Clyburn turns around and disrespects the man by berating him, putting his finger in his face, all that stuff, man. Man, ooh.
Yeah, that could have been me. I would have said that could have been me, brother. I would have said if you don't get your nose, fingers away from me.
Oh man.
Hey man, nigga fingers look like old ashy Tootsie Roll candies and shit. Like, get out of here, man. What's wrong with you, dog?
That they do look like Tootsie Roll candy though, for real. What I tell you, boy. None
of these old niggas, man. They have all the pressure on their own people, but once they get around these white folks, these plantation owners from the Democratic and Republican Party, they start to get hush mouth. They start getting mute like a mime.
That thing get on my nerve, man. For real. You just don't have no idea how bad this thing get on my nerve, man.
Then a white dude. And I'm like, man, if you don't get the fuck out my face, why you gotta speak for this old death ball ass nigga? He got a voice box.
Right. He's sitting up there getting in front of him, talking about, hey, you need to be more respectful. If you don't back your ass up.
Get the fuck out my face before I kill your ass, man, in front of all these people. What's wrong with you, motherfucker?
Boy, I tell you.
Man, old house nigga ass motherfucker, man. Get this nigga out of here, man.
Talk about your fish, man. That thing irritated me when I saw that, man.
Nigga talking about your fish world famous, nigga. That shit ain't even plantation based. You acting like niggas in Osaka, Japan eating your fish, nigga. Like people in Colombia eating your fish while getting shooted on.
People in Osaka, Japan, and Okinawa eating his fish, right? You got people in damn near Melbourne, Australia eating his fish. You serious right now? You got people down there And down there in Africa where they making all the blood diamonds at, you know what I'm saying? They ain't eating his fish either.
Man, hey, I would rather eat a Flanders hamburger than eat anything from Jim Clyburn. And you know how nasty those fucking hamburgers are.
Or him, yeah.
World famous, nigga. That's Candyland plantation based seasonings you use on that fish, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That dude right there, man. I tell you, man. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, Joe Clyburn, boy, I tell you, man, you something
Man,
else.
it's supposed to be Mother's Day, but we talking about this melted that's candy ass nigga, man. Like, I don't know, man. We supposed to be celebrating our mothers, but we on here roasting and toasting this fat fuck out of existence, man. Cause he showed you throughout the years that he ain't nothing but a house Negro. That's all he been. That what his that what his that's what he was born to do. He was born to serve under the white man. Him and characters like him. Ain't nothing gonna change him. You know, he's at the end of his road. So, you know, anything to be more dusty, you know, he's just trying to take it one dusty suit at a time, you know.
Yeah, man, on this Mother's Day, man, that's why that's why I was part of the reason why I was like my mommy, you know what I'm saying? I was, referencing my mom's a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, during
Yeah.
the stream. You know, I you know, I gotta call her up, make sure she has a good Mother's Day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I already called my mom up and stuff. And I know what you were saying earlier about your mom. I don't know being a fan of this dude, but you know how some of these old folks be when it comes to, you know, dusty neck Negroes like this, man. They so stuck in their ways and stuff when it comes to like actually trying to see like the newer passageway of like the political party, and you know some of these dudes not actually doing nothing, just keeping the same seat and not actually getting out of first gear and just actually trying to do something. You know, they just so used to having some black folks out here just automatically voting for them each, you know, election term. But, you know, we're in a different generation where people have opened their eyes and seen the bullshit that you've been doing or the stuff that you haven't been doing. And, you know, those old slave rituals that you use as strategies, you know, to try to get these Negroes out here to vote for you, you might have most of these old folks, but you have some of these younger kids look at you up there all in the videos dancing, throwing seasonings on people and shit, you know, old tilapias, you know, handing out tab sodas at your fish fries and stuff. You know, that shit get old. If you ain't actually bringing nothing to the state of South Carolina and throughout, you know, the diaspora when it comes to, you know, black people, especially foundational black Americans, then what's the use of us actually putting our vote in the ballot for your old dusty neck ass?
Right. Getting on my nerve with that talk about, man, black people not going out there voting. I'm like, I wonder why.
Nigga, they get tired of that old dusty ass fish that you serving every year, man. Like you gonna have to come up with something different, man.
Yeah. And we're not just talking about the fish either. You just can't evolve from whiting into croaker the next year. It's not going down like that. But hey, I gotta run. J Dog, I don't know what's going on with your mic, bro. It's not letting me let you in. But I gotta go ahead and jet. But I appreciate you for coming on. Go subscribe to Eric Johnson 1994. Subscribe to J Dog FBA. They left their links in the description in the comment section. I appreciate everyone for watching. I appreciate everyone for liking the video, sharing the video. Special shout out to my two brothers, J Dog and Eric Johnson, for their donations to the Cash App and Super Chat. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. If you're not a mom, don't expect me to tell you Happy Mother's Day. Okay? I'm gonna repeat that
Yeah,
one more
grandma.
time. If
Yeah,
you
grandmas
are
don't
not a
count neither.
mom, if you are not a
Side,
mom, don't
side
expect
chicks
me to
don't
tell
count
you Happy
neither.
Mother's Day. But if you got kids and you out there busting your tail to make sure they have what they need so that way they can flourish and grow as productive citizens, I salute to all the moms out there. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate you, my sisters, my queens out there that's holding it down single-handedly, or with a husband, or whoever you're holding it down with. As long as you take care of your kids, man, that's a good thing, and I appreciate it.
Right. We salute y'all, man. We don't want y'all out here looking like a Summer Walker album cover and shit, just looking just basic and stinking stuff. So salute to all the real black mothers out there, and salute to all the women out there who holding it down for their families and stuff. I hate that we had to talk about this Dusty Neck Negro, but this was a perfect time and a perfect place to talk about Jimmy Crackcorn Clyburn because every day he shows his ass literally and figuratively. So salute to all the mothers. I hate that we had to talk about this dude, but my homie LB had to come on here and just rock bottom this dude out of existence. So, but today is y'all day. We're gonna leave this Negro in the background like an old slave ritual. So salute to all the mothers.
Right. Last but not least, shouts out to the Lions Den basketball community, LDBC all day. This your man, Scream at